I can give up, but what was never real. I can give up, but what was never real. I can give up, but what was never real. I can give up, but what was never real. I can give up, but what was never real. Hello, I'm Willie from the Ozarks, and thank you so much for joining me and studying A Course in Miracles workbook for students. This is lesson 322 out of the original edition here on November the 18th of 2022. I can give up, but what was never real. I sacrifice illusions, nothing more. And as illusions go, I find the gifts illusions tried to hide, awaiting me in shining welcome and in readiness to give God's ancient messages to me. His memory abides in every gift that I receive of Him, and every dream serves only to conceal the self which is God's only Son, the likeness of myself, the Holy One, who still abides in Him forever, as He still abides in me. I can give up, but what was never real. Father, to you all sacrifice remains forever inconceivable, and so I cannot sacrifice except in illusions. As you created me, I can give up nothing that you gave me. What you did not give has no reality. What loss can I anticipate except the loss of fear and the return of love into my mind? I can give up, but what was never real. Okay, and let's go take a look in our Manual for Teachers reading for the day. And we're ready for Who Are Their Pupils? Certain pupils have been assigned to each of God's teachers, and they will begin to look for Him as soon as He has answered the call. They were chosen for Him because the form of the universal curriculum that He will teach is best for them in view of their level of understanding. His pupils have been waiting for Him, for His coming is certain. Again, it is only a matter of time. Once He has chosen to fulfill His role, they are ready to fulfill theirs. Time waits on His choice, but not on whom He will serve. When He is ready to learn, the opportunities to teach will be provided for Him. Isn't that a nice way to look at it? When the teacher's ready to learn, the opportunities to teach will be provided for Him. Paragraph 2. In order to understand the teaching-learning plan of salvation, it is necessary to grasp the concept of time, which the Course sets forth. Atonement corrects illusions, not the truth. Therefore, it corrects what never was. Further, the plan for this correction was established and completed simultaneously, for the will of God is entirely apart from time. So is all reality, being of Him. The instant the idea of separation entered the mind of God's Son, in that same instant was God's answer given. In time, this happened very long ago. In reality, it never happened at all. Paragraph 3, the world of time is the world of illusion. What happened long ago seems to be happening now. Choices made long since appear to be open, yet to be made. What has been learned and understood and long ago passed by is looked upon as a new thought, a fresh idea, a different approach. Because your will is free, You can accept what has already happened at any time you choose, and only then will you realize that it was always there. As the Course emphasizes, you are not free to choose the curriculum or even the form in which you will learn it. You are free, however, to decide when you want to learn it. And as you accept it, it is already learned. 4. Time really then goes backward to an instant so ancient that it is beyond all memory and past even the possibility of remembering. Time really then goes backward to an instant so ancient that it is beyond all memory and past even the possibility of remembering. Yet because it is an instant that is relived again and again and still again, it seems to be now. And thus it is that pupil and teacher seem to come together in the present, finding each other as if they had not met before. The pupil comes at the right time to the right place. This is inevitable because he made the right choice in that ancient instant, which he now relives. So has the teacher too made an inevitable choice out of an ancient past. God's will in everything but seems to take time in the working out. What could delay the power of eternity? Paragraph 5. When pupil and teacher come together, a teaching-learning situation begins. For the teacher is not really the one who does the teaching. God's teacher speaks to any two who join together for learning purposes. The relationship is holy because of that purpose, and God has promised to send His Spirit into any holy relationship. In the teaching-learning situation, each one learns that giving and receiving are the same. In the teaching-learning situation, each one learns that giving and receiving are the same. The demarcations they have drawn between their roles, their minds, their bodies, their needs, their interests, and all the differences they thought separated them from one another, fade and grow dim and disappear. Those who would learn the same course share one interest and one goal. And thus he who was the learner becomes a teacher of God Himself, for he has made the one decision that gave his teacher to him. He has seen in another person the same interests as his own. He has seen in another person the same interests as his own. Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look at the third section. What are the levels of teaching? The teachers of God have no set teaching level. Each teaching-learning situation involves a different relationship at the beginning, although the ultimate goal is always the same, to make of the relationship a holy relationship, in which both can look upon the Son of God as sinless. There is no one from whom a teacher of God cannot learn, so there is no one whom he cannot teach. However, from a practical point of view, he cannot meet everyone, nor can everyone find him. Therefore, the plan includes very specific contacts to be made for each teacher of God. There are no accidents in salvation. There are no accidents in salvation. Those who are to meet will meet, because together they have the potential for a holy relationship. They are ready for each other. Paragraph 2. The simplest level of teaching appears to be quite superficial. It consists of what seems to be very casual encounters, a chance meeting of two apparent strangers in an elevator, a child who is not looking where he is going and running into an adult, in quotes, by accident, two students who happen to walk home together. These are not chance encounters. Each of them has the potential for becoming a teaching-learning situation. Perhaps the seeming strangers in the elevator will smile to one another. Perhaps the man will not scold the child for bumping into him. Perhaps the students will become friends. Even at the level of the most casual encounter, it is possible for two people to lose sight of separate interests, if only for a moment. That moment will be enough. Salvation has come. 3. It is difficult to understand that levels of teaching the universal course is a concept as meaningless in reality as is time. The illusion of one permits the illusion of the other. In time, the teacher of God seems to begin to change his mind about the world with the single decision, and then learn more and more about the new direction as he teaches it. We have covered the illusion of time already, but the illusion of levels of teaching seems to be something different. Perhaps the best way to demonstrate that these levels cannot exist is simply to say that any level of the teaching-learning situation is part of God's plan for atonement, and His plan can have no levels, being a reflection of His will. Salvation is always ready and always there. God's teachers work at different levels, but the result is always the same. 4. Each teaching-learning situation is maximal in the sense that each person involved will learn the most that he can from the other person at that time. In this sense, and in this sense only, we can speak of levels of teaching. Using the term in this way, the second level of teaching is a more sustained relationship in which for a time two people enter into a fairly intense teaching-learning situation and then appear to separate. As with the first level, these meetings are not accidental, nor is what appears to be the end of the relationship a real end. Again, each has learned the most he can at the time, yet all who meet will someday meet again. Yet all who meet will someday meet again. For it is the destiny of all relationships to become holy. God is not mistaken in His Son. And the last paragraph, 5, the third level of teaching occurs in relationships which, once they are formed, are lifelong. These are teaching-learning situations in which each person is given a chosen learning partner who presents him with unlimited opportunities for learning. Unlimited opportunities for learning. These relationships are generally few because their existence implies that those involved have reached a stage simultaneously in which the teaching-learning balance is actually perfect. This does not mean that they necessarily recognize this. In fact, they generally do not. They may even be quite hostile to each other for some time, and perhaps for life. Yet should they decide to learn it, the perfect lesson is before them and can be learned. Wow, let's not stay in a lifelong agony. Let's decide we want to learn the lesson and see our brother as our dear friend and bringer of salvation. Yet should they decide to learn it, the perfect lesson is before them and can be learned. And if they decide to learn that lesson, they become the saviors of the teachers who falter and may even seem to fail. No teacher of God can fail to find the help he needs. All right, let's go take a look now at what is creation. But before we read it, let's take a look at another edible landscaping blueberry. And this is called what is it called? The O'Neill Southern Highbush Blueberry. and this is out of ediblelandscaping.com. The O'Neill Southern Highbush Blueberry. O'Neill's large fruit is considered the best tasting of the Southern Highbush varieties. Flavor will not deteriorate under hot weather conditions. Fruit size is very large and attractive. Plant height around 6 foot and well proportioned. O'Neill plants have great ornamental fall colors of orange and wine. Widely grown in North Carolina and even South America. Space 5-foot circles, introduced from North Carolina. Berries sweeten early. It's a native. Needs 500 to 600 chill hours, and a chill hour is temperatures below 45 degrees Fahrenheit. And this O'Neill Southern Highbush Blueberry, good in zones 5 through 9. So it does me well right here. Okay. Now, in our lesson today, I can give up, but what was never real. And what is creation? Creation is the sum of all God's thoughts, in number infinite and everywhere without all limits, or without all limit. Only love creates and only like itself. There was no time when all that it created was not there, nor will there be a time when anything that it created suffers any change. Forever and forever are God's thoughts exactly as they were and as they are, unchanged through time and after time is done. God's thoughts are given all the power that their own Creator has, for He would add to love by its extension. Thus His Son shares in creation and must therefore share in power to create. What God has willed to be forever one will still be one when time is over, and will not be changed throughout the course of time, remaining as it was before the thought of time began. Creation is the opposite of all illusions, for creation is the truth. Creation is the Holy Son of God, for in creation is His will complete in every aspect, making every part container of the whole. Its oneness is forever guaranteed inviolate, forever held within His holy will, beyond all possibility of harm, of separation, imperfection, and of any spot upon its sinlessness. We are creation, we the sons of God. We seem to be discreet and unaware of our eternal unity with Him, yet back of all our doubts, past all our fears, there still is certainty. For love remains with all its thoughts, its sureness being theirs. God's memory is in our holy minds, which know their oneness and their unity with their Creator. Let our function be only to let this memory return, only to let God's will be done on earth, only to be restored to sanity, and to be but as God created us. Our Father calls to us. We hear His voice, and we forgive creation in the name of its Creator, holiness itself, whose holiness His own creation shares, whose holiness is still a part of us. And remember, we're supposed to be doing 2 extended periods of quiet, looking within, saying and to ourselves, I can give up, but what was never real. Once in the morning, once in the evening, at least. And then an hourly thanksgiving and remembrance. I can give up, but what was never real. I sacrifice illusions, nothing more. And as illusions go, I find the gifts illusions tried to hide, awaiting me in shining welcome and in readiness to give God's ancient messages to me. His memory abides in every gift that I receive of Him, and every dream serves only to conceal the self, which is God's only Son, the likeness of Himself, the Holy One who still abides in Him forever, as He still abides in me. I can give up but what was never real. Father, to you all sacrifice remains inconceivable, and so I cannot sacrifice except in dreams. As you created me, I can give up nothing you gave me. What you did not give has no reality. What loss can I anticipate except the loss of fear and the return of love into my mind? I can give up, but what was never real. And you know, I've been playing my guitar with these songs just for years, and I just make up little songs. They're not real songs, they're just ones I make up. But they kind of help me get it all settled in for the day. I can give up, but what was never real. I can give up, but what was never real. I can give up, but what was never real. I can give up, but what was never real. I can give up, but what was never real.